Why, hello there people from the internet, and welcome back to some more Battlefield 6. Now, I still have a bit of footage left from the beta, and thank God it's only about a week before we get into the full release of the game. Now, it's going to be one of them things. Are you going to be there on day one, or are you going to wait to see what happens? Now, what do we know so far? We know a couple of nerfs and a couple of different things that are going to do to the game. We know that movement and shotguns and some other things they've mentioned previously, all that's going to be addressed. And we also know, I've seen that a couple of days ago, they posted what's going to be in the first season. Now, as you can see on the screen, it's a couple of different maps, a couple of different things that they're going to be coming out. Nothing too fancy, I would say, but nevertheless, it's something to get you going to Season 2 or Christmas or whatever it'll be when you decide, if you decide to go into a day one or you decide to go into it a little bit later. Now, for me personally, when I say Battlefield, I say big maps, I say tanks, planes, choppers, little birds, everything flying around, C4 and all that goodness and madness that comes with a Battlefield game. Now, my concerns are still pretty much the same when I mentioned early on in the beta. It's just the beginning. It's not going to be a lot of stuff in there. There's probably going to be like every other game that took 3, 6, 9, a year or whatever months to get fixed and get the bugs and get it ironed out to work properly. But for me, it's kind of the big maps that are not there in the beginning. Yes, you have Mirak Valley. Yeah, you probably have Operation Firestorm, which again, for me, that I've played it so many times in so many other Battlefield games. It's not really a new map, so I don't sort of see it as a new map or a map that I'm sort of willing to play more than sort of once or twice or a couple of times. Just because I've seen it so many times, I was looking forward to exploring something else, let's just put it that way. I mean, there's nothing else. I do love a bit of Firestorm, but not all the time, if you know what I mean. So for me, the rotation would be kind of weird, having to wait the same sort of 2-3 maps. Yes, you also have the Liberation Peak, which I think it's decent. I like that in the beta. And you also have what it looked to me, the Cairo extension. I know it's a new map, it's New Sobek City. So it's going to be the outskirts of Cairo, which looks like double, maybe a little bit bigger than Cairo. And that's probably going to be another big map, and you can have a bit of fun with that for a couple of months or a couple of weeks. Just before you sort of get a couple of more and you find your rotation, you find the sort of stuff that you like. I mean, let's not get it wrong here. There was a couple of maps that you didn't like, and there was a couple of maps that you do like. So hopefully we'll get plenty of that early on, I'm saying before Christmas, just to keep you going, to keep you busy. There's not going to be huge amount of unlocks, so it's probably not going to take you more than sort of 20, 30, 40 hours or whatever to unlock most of the attachment for your weapons and things like that. So after that, you'll probably be working on either assignments or some camos or other things, whatever they're going to be introducing. They probably will do some things like that. But you have to let me know, are you convinced? Are you going to be on point when the Battlefield launches? Like I said, if I were to summarize this quickly, it would be not as good as BF2, BF3, BF4, but better than 5 and BF42. That's kind of the short version of it. And one of the reasons I think Battlefield 6 and I enjoyed the beta is because I missed it. I really did miss BF3, BF4 sort of days where you had a lot of gadgets, a lot of stuff, and don't get me wrong, that took forever to get it working. I mean, you remember the old Battlefield days that it took the CTEs and how long it took for us to get it working, and the netcode and hit detection and some other shit like that that needed fixing. It took forever, but it did work, so it's going to probably take some time. Let's just hope it doesn't take that long, and it's going to be there, and you're going to be there and playing it and enjoying it and having fun with your friends. I still think I probably will hold off just for that reason. Just for the reason that I don't want to be in the same rotation, sort of a 3 maps over and over again, and it'll probably get stale for me after doing that for a couple of days or a couple of weeks or whatever. And I would need something to do. And don't get me wrong, it'll be a little bit cheaper at Christmas or Black Friday or whatever it'll be. So unless somebody sends me a code, wink, wink, all that, whatever. But you know what I mean. So that's kind of my real concern there. It's just going to be a little bit stale if you're not a big fan of the infantry sort of ground warfare maps that they're really focusing on right now. Look at this, man. I really hope they do fix that, you know, that animation. A lot of times the reason I wouldn't help a teammate or I wouldn't help somebody is because I was in a tight spot and I knew if I would go and try and drag him as my assault and pull him towards me, somebody will come around a corner and just shoot you in the eye, and it took too long for that thing to actually have an effect, and you wouldn't really help the team that much, I would say. If you're playing sort of alone with randoms, maybe in squads, and I've seen it work brilliantly when you're working as a 3-4 man squad and you've got comms and you're working together and stuff like that, and I'm pretty sure that works quite well when you can rely on your teammates to do things for you. So hopefully we'll see some cool stuff like that implemented, and just maybe just make that a little bit quicker, just a bit snappier to make sure that a lot of people are using it, because a lot of times in the beta I didn't get revived, and I'm not gonna sort of blame this on anybody, but I'm just gonna say there was a lot of people that didn't really play Battlefield for their daily game, and obviously you got all sorts of people in the game, and it was what it was. Let's just put it that. So going back to it before we lose track here, are you going to be there on day one? Are you going to wait? What's your concern about the new Battlefield game that's coming out in about a week's time? I did, however, play the Battle Royale mode, which I can't really go into details about in the Battlefield Labs. I've never really been a Battle Royale fan, so for me, it doesn't really matter what kind of feedback you get from that. I'm sure plenty of people are going to be playing and enjoying that when it comes out and have a bit of fun with it. For me personally, I've just never really been a big fan of it, so that's never really going to be something that I'm going to go into daily and play. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Let me know some of your thoughts, comments, and I'll see you in the next one.